To create these cutouts and this extruded piece here, we're going to need to first add a few edge loops. So let's come into here and I'll press Control R, and I'm trying to figure out how many we should have. Let me hit Escape there. It looks to me like we should have 1, 2, 3, 4 on each side. Let's give it a try and see if that'll work. I'll press Control R again, and then I'll scroll the mouse wheel, and let's add 4 edges on this side, and then I'm going to hit Enter 2 times, and that will ensure that I don't move those around with the mouse when I click it. Control R over here, and the same thing. I want 4 edges and hit Enter twice. Now let's press Control R, and let's put 2 here horizontally, and maybe I'll bring this up about like this here, and then I'll press Alt and click here to select that whole edge and maybe move that down just a bit. Okay, so what has that done for us? Well, I think what I can do is Alt click this and Shift Alt click this, and I'm going to scale them in the X. I'll press S and X and kind of scale that in. And in addition, these here need to be a little bit bigger, so I'll press S and X and move that in. So let me go to face mode and select this, and that's these 2 over here. And then this in here is going to be that opening there. But I think what I need to do is go ahead and use these, and I'm going to extrude this out first. I'm going to hit E and just pull out. And then at this point, I could probably take this face and scale it in the Z. So I hit S and Z and scale that in like that. You can see it's got this little angle here, right? So let's try that. And then let's take these faces here and let's extrude these in, or we can also use the inset tool. So instead of hitting E to extrude, we can press I to create an inset. Now over here, this is extrude and this is inset. So you can also use the buttons over here. We're going to use the inset, which is the I shortcut key. So I'll hit I and move the mouse in. And I'm probably going to go about to here, and then I'll press S and the Z and scale in just a bit like this. Yeah, something like that. And then we could hit E and just push back in there like that. Now that we've done that, it looks like it's empty in there, like you can see through it. So let's go ahead and delete those. I'll hit X and delete faces. And there we go. So now we've got that piece. And once again, it's just a general block out of the piece. It isn't an exact replica. So now these pieces over here, we should take these and we could just extrude these straight back. We hit E and push back. And then we could delete these as well. X and faces. There we go. Now we've got this part open back here, and I don't think that's going to be a problem. I don't know that we're ever going to see into here. At least for now, I'm always going to opt for fewer polygons. And at the end, when we're looking at the whole thing as one complete piece, we'll then go back and see if there's anything we need to tweak. Let's now work on this piece down here. It looks like this is just a cube scaled. So what I'm going to do is press Shift A, create a cube, press S and scale it down quite a bit. And let's move this up and here into place like this. And then here, let's go ahead and press S and Y and scale it in like this. And it looks like it fits right under this piece. So I'll just bring it right up here, hit the period key to zoom in, and then place it maybe right in here. It's very hard to tell exactly where things should go, but we'll do our best here. That height looks pretty good, actually. Now let's go ahead and scale it out in the X, so S and X, and scale out like this. Now it looks like we've got several cutouts to put in here in the same way we did before. To make our lives a little easier, I'm going to go ahead and delete the face on the back here. This one right here, X, and delete faces. And I'll leave this one on the bottom. Then what let's do is go ahead and add our edge loops. So it looks like 1, 2, 3 on each side, so maybe 6. Let's try this. There's 4, 5, 6. There we go. Is that going to work for us? It probably will if we make a few modifications. So let me scale this out about like that. And maybe Alt-click and Shift-Alt-click these two and scale these out in the X with S and X. And these two as well. So we get it about like this. Okay, so now let's go ahead and create the horizontal edges. It looks like the bottom edge is in line, but the top edge, this one's a little bit bigger. I don't know, it's hard to tell, but let's go ahead and go that route. I'll put one edge here for the center one and an edge here for these. And then what I'm going to do is put one edge down here for all of them. So something like that. All right, so this, and this could be extruded back. E, pull it back like that. And then let's go ahead and hit X and delete faces there. So we've got those in place. It also looks to me like there's a cylinder behind all this for the winch. So let's go ahead and add that. I'm going to create a cylinder here. And let's reduce the number of sides or vertices. Let's take it down to, say, 16 here. And I'll change the cap fill to, let's go with a triangle fan. Let's do that. RY90 to turn it 90 degrees. And let's bring it forward and scale it down and put it into place. Hit the period key to zoom in, and let's kind of put it where we want it to be. I think that maybe is a little bit too big. Let's scale it down some and move it back. Scale it in the X. So maybe it's something like this. Let's try that. And also it looks like there's a rim on it. It's very hard to tell, but let's try it. Let's create two edge loops. Scrolling the mouse wheel here, and then S and X, and scale out to here. And then what I'll do is hit the 3 key, go to face mode, and I'll Alt-click between two faces to select that whole face loop. And then I'll press Shift and Alt and do the same thing over here. All right, so we have those now. Let's now press E, and then I'm going to immediately press the S key to scale this out. And then I'm going to turn off the X-axis. So to do that, I'm going to press Shift-X. Now, if I pull the mouse, we're only scaling in the Z and the Y axes. So now I can scale out just a little bit like this. There we go. All right, so once again, what I did is I hit the S key, and then to turn off a particular axis, you can press Shift and that axis. So since I didn't want to scale in the X axis here, I pressed Shift X, and that turned that axis off during the scaling. Okay, so we've got that in there. What we could do also is we could probably go ahead and smooth this. I'm going to come over here and go Object, Shade Smooth. And I'll come down here to the object data, and let's turn on Auto Smooth. And that's not bad, actually. If I bring it up to over 90 degrees, that's what we get. If I take it down to 0, that's what we get. So looks like anything between 30 and 90 will be fine there. Yeah, I think that's okay. All right, so we've got those pieces in place. What let's do in the next video is work on these pieces right here, these kind of connection pieces where we've got a cylinder connected to another cylinder, and even it looks like another cylinder up here. So let's work on these in the next video.